Look at that back panel though, just that large piece. And you know, one of the cool things about Cooper is they were one of 18 different companies that were contracted by the government. They won contracts to make A2 jackets for the war, or even before the war, from 1931 to about 1943. Only 18 companies were making A2s for the government, and that's Cooper right there was one of those companies, and they're no longer around these days. They closed down around the 90s, but that's something I kind of like about owning this jacket. Yeah, sure, this is definitely not from the 40s or anything, but it's kind of designed that way. This jacket would have been made probably in the 80s, maybe the 90s. It's kind of hard to tell under exclusive authority of the defense personnel. Probably after 1988, when the government decided to make new A2s. I believe they redesigned the A2 in 1988, something like that. Because they were contracted, they started adding that under there, even though this orange tag is a civilian jacket. I don't believe all the orange tags were actually civilian jackets, because there have actually been service members that have had Coopers with orange tags in them. So, you know, I mean, who knows, maybe it's just something that they didn't really care too much about, because these are made to the same specifications as the military versions. Inside of these pockets here, the only two pockets on the jacket, the unlined underside of the patch pocket here, you can see it's a T-core leather. It's a lighter brown than what is on here on the top coat, and you can see kind of how it starts to chip the surface and the lighter brown comes through. That's a T-core effect. I thought I was wearing my Red Wing black Klondike boots, but I guess not. Those are a T-core as well, good example of it, but I do have that video on the channel. As mentioned, there is no internal pockets in here, which is super useful for me, but I like that this is designed like as an old school kind of A2. I don't really know what specific contract number, and this isn't really going to be too helpful, but I don't really know what contract number this would have been, but this is like a beautifully designed one. I would say it's like a little bit more old school, where you have that wide back panel. I mean, all of them have that actually, but certain contracts have certain things where like a Bill Kelso might have one where the back panel here is a little bit wider, and then it allows the arm to reach forward a little bit easier. Stuff like that, like very, very subtle details. This one doesn't have like the side panels here, which a lot of kind of more modern A2s have, as well as the ones that were made around this time. I would say they have like the same kind of label. You can find them all over eBay, and there are plenty of them that look just like this, but they'll have the side panels rather than just the front and the back being connected, and it kind of gives you more room in there. But I feel like it also makes the jacket look a little bit sloppier. There you have the poly cotton lining, which is really nice. I actually really like it. Here's the hang loop. So a lot of older school ones, like from the actual, like they're the ones that were designed for the war in the 40s, they would have the loop right there, and it would be stitched through, and you can kind of see it on the outside. I don't care for hang loops at all. So if I'm gonna have one, I guess this is fine, but I'm never gonna use it, because it's just like there's no point. I'm either gonna throw the jacket flat onto a surface or just put it on a hanger, like a wide hanger though, right? You don't really want those dimples in the shoulders, which can happen with a lot of leather jackets when you're putting them on cheap, thin kind of plastic hangers or whatever material it is. Then you have the cuffs here. No seam, no side seam, or connection seam rather. It's just a loop. The skirt, as they may have been called in the contracts, which is the hem, the ribbed hem here. Very nice. There's no attachment point, like no snap that would go here to close that. It does stay fairly flat, this placket, which is good. It doesn't really like jut out or anything. Very clean look, very well designed. Inside of this left side pocket, we have the kind of label here. FA0076, lot number 32, size 42, number 1781-4. The zipper pull I put on myself. This is just a piece of suede that I put some wax on and made in USA, which is nice. I believe these would be kind of similar to YKK number 5s. Zippers on these, most of the A2s made out there are kind of like on the number 5s. So even if you have the horsehide, those zippers might break because horsehide can be very tough. And these zippers, I would consider, they're fine, they'll work for sure. It's just like they're a little bit daintier than zippers you might find on heavier weight kind of jackets. The latch is very annoying to try to latch on. I'm not sure how many people really use it. I noticed the latch is not as hard to use as I initially thought at this point, but it's like anytime I've tried latching it when I'm wearing the jacket, it's very awkward. You have the snaps for the collar. You can snap it down so that it stays a little bit more presentable, as well as keeps it from flapping around in high wind situations. Yeah, very nice goat skin. The epaulets at the top kind of have that box looking stitch right there. This goat skin is very nice. It's like rugged and durable feeling, yet at the same time it's soft and requires no break-in, but it's not insanely soft. I've seen some insanely soft goat skin, which looks like almost like it was lamb skin, how soft and flowy it is. This one is like kind of a mixture. There's some rigidity to it, which I really like. With a lot of these civilian jackets, they will have this kind of 4 by 2.5. I think it's 4.5 by 2.5 hook and loop, aka Velcro as people may call it, the brand name. Some of them will have the shield on the other side, and then I believe some of them also have none. So there are jackets out there without any kind of remnant of any kind of Velcro or patches being put on. So that's cool, but I really enjoy this right here, US Army Air Corps. I do enjoy the A2. It's definitely the best jacket. The G1 is cool as well. I love the G1, but the A2, there's something special, especially with these more old school style ones without like the hand warmer pockets on the sides, and like they're kind of cut in just like that kind of old school way, I would say. These ones, there's just something special. And here we have the A2, Cooper A2, wearing it open. A lot of people don't like when the sleeves kind of tunnel, as they call it, where basically it does this, right? Where this cuff is tunneling inside of the sleeve. I personally prefer that because I like that the leather goes all the way down, and then when I reach out, it extends, right? So relaxes like that, then I reach out and it extends out. I like that happens. That happens with my shot jacket as well, which is my preference. On this side, it's not going to work as much because there's a watch, and it kind of just stays like this for the most part, which is kind of what most people like. And there's nothing wrong with that either, I don't think. It looks good. Zipping it up and trying not to mess with the mic that's on this Whale Wish Henley. Check out the Whale Wish video I did on it. Very nice hemp Henleys, cotton hemp. I like how these sit with the Wrangler 13 MWZ. You know, you're moving around and it ends up kind of just sitting like this for the most part, right here. You get to see the rivets on those Wranglers. Look at that back panel though, just that large piece. One of my favorite things. I also really enjoy that the shoulders are kind of longer or wider than your natural shoulder, because the seam kind of comes a little bit off. With a lot of jackets, the shoulder is usually like shorter than my shoulder. It depends. Like on my horsehide type 1 jacket, that one is actually quite a bit shorter. And with this, it kind of gives you more of a broad shouldered look, which I prefer because I would say that I am more so broad shouldered, and it looks a bit strange when my shoulders look narrow. But with this design, I think it looks really good. Very manly, very wide looking. Yeah, this Cooper A2. Check them out. Like, I got this thing for, I don't know, like 150 or something off eBay. I always use eBay. I always recommend eBay. Use my links, affiliate links in the description or in the comments, and you'll get good deals. Like, this is a great jacket. Just be aware of some of the things I've mentioned, like the side panels that some of these jackets have, which doesn't look as good, but they still look good. Definitely nothing wrong with those jackets if you want one of the ones with the side panels, like if you need the extra room, because it will give you more room in the body. But A2s in general don't really need too much help in terms of the body movement, which is ironic because they're still kind of a restrictive design. When you're moving around, this is a 42R. I have a 41-inch chest. Sometimes my chest goes up to maybe like 42 or 43 at the most. And with a 41-inch chest, this is built for a 42-inch chested person, technically, because 42R, 42 regular. It's meant for someone with a 42-inch chest. So I have like an inch smaller chest, and it's still somewhat restrictive in a sense, right? And I have 0 layers. I have just my t-shirt on under here, my Henley. But I would say it is definitely the correct size. I've tried it on with a hoodie, and it feels the same. Like, with the hoodie on underneath, it feels more cushioned, but it also, like, in terms of the movement, I feel just as restricted. Although I wouldn't say it's a restrictive jacket. It's just it's a restrictive design in a sense, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that the jacket is restrictive, because I can move. I can do pretty much anything in this thing. Very cool. Old school Cooper A2 jacket. So I decided to remove the patch, and you can see the holes there, which I will get filled in. If you check out my website, splished.com, I'm gonna write an article on there and show how to fill this in. So that's gonna be less obtrusive looking, and you can really only see it when you're kind of up close. At any kind of distance, especially with this grainy goat skin like that, it kind of just disappears, right? Like, because nobody's really going to be up at my chest like that. But you can see it, and I do want to get it as removed as possible. I don't really mind it that much, but I just think it's going to be a fun thing. We're going to fill the holes in, and we're going to make it look as neat as possible, as if it was never Velcro patched up there, hook and loop. The Cooper A2 jacket. This is a pretty cool jacket. I've been liking it. I've been using it for several days now, maybe a couple weeks. And I like that Cooper Sportswear, they were a contractor for the government to make some of these A2 jackets back during World War II. And that kind of heritage is something I really like. That's kind of why I wear things like Wranglers. Well, that's not why I wear the Wranglers. Technically, I wear them because they're the best fitting jean, and you can check out my videos on Wranglers. But I guess Red Wing, maybe. I have some Red Wing Huntsman boots, and I just feel like the heritage behind Red Wing is super cool. And even though there are more comfy boots, and these are Red Wing 2015 Huntsman, right? These things go for like $1,000 or something these days, I guess, on eBay. And there are more comfy boots, even though these are comfy, but there are more comfy boots out there. But I wear these because it's Red Wing, and they also look good, right? It's not just about the heritage, but it's also about how the stuff looks. But yeah, there are doper channels out there that kind of discuss the history. Check out Reflected Simulations, I believe his channel name is. He has really good A2 videos, as well as Derek Does. Derek Does has good videos in general about stuff like this. They give a little bit of the history. Maybe I'll talk about the history a lot more in written content, because it's a lot easier, because I don't script these or anything. I just start talking, and whatever comes out comes out. But when it comes to written content, I would do an outline and write it like a writer would, and which is pretty much scripting. Yeah, like if you put your arms up like this, and the jacket sits above the belt line. This is one of those jackets, of course, because of the skirt or the hem, right? That thing, it clings onto you. This is one of those jackets where you're pretty much constantly pulling it back down. But in my opinion, like just standing around like this, it looks fine. Like I don't mind this at all. Looks kind of natural. I keep the collar unsnapped. It just seems to look better that way. And I noticed the latch is not as hard to use as I initially thought, because I used to like the first few times I was trying to use that latch up at the top, it seemed like super difficult to latch on using two hands, but you can just use one hand, and it's kind of natural. But I can see why a lot of jackets these days they use a snap up there rather than the latch. But I think the latch just looks really good. The pockets are the only thing that are kind of a negative because they're so small, and if I want to put things in them, I can, but usually I have to keep the flaps open. Like if I have my notebook in there or my phone in there, it's not really that useful. I just keep my phone in the back pockets or something of my Wranglers here. What else do we have? Yeah, just a very simple design. There's not too much to speak of. No internal pockets, of course, with these old school ones. The newer ones will have like the pen pockets and the internal pockets on either side. This is just plain lining. Fits nice and well. All right, and I also removed the patch and kind of did an article on the website showing how I did that, and it looks a lot better. I mostly only wanted to remove, or I mostly only wanted to fill in those holes. And the biggest reason I filled in the holes is mostly because I didn't want there to be holes in a leather jacket. It just seemed a bit strange. It wasn't really about the look because it looked fine and you can't really see it from a distance. You can probably hardly see this right now. But yeah, you can still see it when it's filled in. But now there are no actual holes in the jacket since I used some leather filler and then I kind of dyed over it. So it blended in a lot better. Good range of motion for me at least, size 42 regular. If I were to size down, I feel like it would probably be more of a fashion fit, but less functional. Because I'm wearing no layers under here right now, just a t-shirt. And to me, this does feel really nice. But sizing down, I think it would be a much snugger fit. I definitely wouldn't want a horsehide version sized down. If I were to get a horsehide, it would probably have to be in this size specifically. Like something as close to this as possible would be really nice. Because I am thinking about a horsehide one now. They're just so nice. Like these in general, the goatskin is nice, but I am a major fan of horsehide as well. This is my only goatskin jacket, and so far, I've been loving it. It's super functional. No complaints really. The only thing is like horsehide just ages better in a sense. Well, not better maybe. It ages a little bit more, in a way that denim heads and leather guys might like. Whereas goatskin kind of stays looking new for a long time, even with the T-core kind of effect going on in here, because the top coat is quite thick. And I like this Cooper A2 jacket so much in brown, this goatskin, that I bought another Stetson hat, which you've probably seen in a lot of videos. This is one of my favorite hats. I've owned it now for like coming up on 2 years, like a year and a half, and it basically still looks new. It's such a good hat. These are made in China, these Stetsons, but I don't believe they sell them anymore. But they are good quality, high, or rather, full grain leather, hefty. The black one seems to be heavier and thicker than the brown one, although that could be a little bit due to the fact that this has gotten, stiffer over time from oils and, hair products and stuff. And that's kind of how hats end up getting. They take on a nice shape of your head, especially leather hats, I've noticed. Like cotton ones, canvas ones can get kind of floppy. Wool ones can get a little bit misshapen. But leather hats tend to just keep lasting. And I'm surprised that it's less of a thing than it is, because leather caps are amazing, and people wear baseball caps all the time. And you always kind of have to replace them over time because they are, they break down, but the leather ones really don't. Like almost 2 years. This is super impressive to me. And depending on how or I guess how the weather is, like right now it's super sunny, I tend to wear it forward. Otherwise, when I wear hats backwards a lot outside, you get that tan line from the band. Like you get the strange kind of triangular Illuminati tan lines. So I like to keep it forward when I'm outside for the most part, but I also use hats as kind of a head covering. And yeah, so it works well when you just want to like cover your hair because I it's kind of messy and I don't really fix my hair that often. It's a lot of work. So I usually like to just stuff my hair under a hat like this, and it works out well. Interestingly, I used to not really like epaulette holders like this where you put epaulettes onto them, but now, like, or maybe not now, because I still don't like epaulette holders, but I like them on the A2. And I maybe because it's so subtle, it's the same leather and it's stitched down on both sides. A lot of epaulettes will have like the snap thing, you can unsnap it. I definitely dislike that. Not sure why. I think just because in my mind it seems like it's not a functional thing because it provides no use in my life, and I guess I tend to think of things in that sense. But there could be function, right? I'm saying in my personal life there's no function to it, but on this it's like it's so subtle and so well done. I like how it's basically aligned with the back or with the shoulder seam there that connects to the back panel. It's just, I don't know. It's funny because back in the day, whenever I would be buying jackets, whether they're leather or not, I would always not want epaulette holders on there. I had a Levi's jacket that I actually cut them off because it's just like I didn't like it. But I really, like, I don't think I would prefer the jacket with them gone. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would prefer it if they weren't there. So I do like them. That's cool. I mean, it's such a simple thing, but we are talking about clothing here.